Ready, we'll go ahead and get the match started, but before we go, you want to tell everyone a little bit about Echo Isle?
Well, Echo Isles is a two-player map, so it's pretty small. You know, human and elf kind of sometimes drag along or finishes really fast, depending how both players play. For example, just that Moon versus Infi game that dragged for an hour and a half. It was on Terrain Stand. It's not that big, but all the mines were done. It was all finished, and they just decided it was stalemate. But hopefully it doesn't happen in Echo Isles because we don't really want to cast a stalemate. I think after casting for a couple of years, and you too, I don't think you've ever seen a stalemate game.
No, that was my first time ever. So anyway, guys, we are in the grand finals for the Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne. Please put your hands together and cheer for these guys as the game is now starting. Remind and Infi! So I'm actually really excited to see Infi. First of all, Infi here to have a China player, but I'm also very excited to see Remind here. Remind has been in the game playing the game for a really long time. He's been one of my favorites. He's won several Blizzard tournaments in the past, not a Blizzcon. It's actually a ladder season tournament that he's won. And then we didn't see him for a while, but now he's back and he's like just on fire this year.
So just to show you what the map has here in Echo Isle, so it's a two-player map. On the left side is a human, as you can see, and of course elf on the right side. That's the only bases that people can spawn. And there's only two expansions right here in the lower left and the lower right. So if this drags on for very long, there wouldn't be any gold left for them. So it won't take as long, I think. It would probably be like 20 minutes. So, and a lot of action that can happen here. We have two mercenary camps on the left side and the right side. They can get some mercenaries there. Tavern right in the middle. Only one shop here, so like heroes have to fight for the items here, like Boost of Speed or the Scroll of Healing. And a lot of creeps scattered around the map, as you can see. Green is, you know, the easy ones that can be killed. And there's no red camps here, only big oranges. So that's all they can do in the game until they decide to, come on, let's all fight.
Right. So right now I think Infi probably has a really good advantage because Remind hasn't played since yesterday. So Remind, this is his first match of the day. I spoke to him earlier and he said he only had 3 hours of sleep. So I don't know if it's the jet lag or the nerves or whatever, but he didn't have much sleep at all. Where Infi has already played Moon, who is a Night Elf player as well, so he's kind of warmed up for this matchup already. I don't know if we'll see a Tower Rush, if he'll pull a Tower Rush against Remind or not, but you know he's already played 3 games now, and his hands are warmed up. So right now we're going to look at the hero choices quickly. Infi.
Infi is going to get the Warden, a usual choice for against human.
Remind.
Remind, sorry, and Infi. He hasn't been training his hero yet. I don't know if he's going to get a Tavern hero. He's been using Mountain King against Moon earlier on, so maybe he'll be taking the Tinker, which he used against Moon for a Tower Rush. Nope, he'll be getting the Panda as his first hero here for the human player. He had a late altar so that he can get a Tavern hero just in time. On the other hand, we have Infi here going to put a farm right at the Mercenary camp so he can check if Remind decides to creep that earlier on. So it seems like there might be an attempt for a fast expand here. Nope, just going to creep that mercenary camp on the left side. And the Warden is right there going to try to do some harassment.
Yeah, we've got Militia creeping here, very common for human players. And of course, in comes the Warden trying to slow it down. We have Shadow Strike being casted on the Panda. That's going to actually cause a lot of damage over time. And meanwhile here, Infi basically wants to try and get the Wizard and see if he can get that really cool item. He picked up a Mercenary. He got a Shadow Priest here to help out and heal some of his units. The Warden's trying to come in to get a creep kill here. We've got a surround on the Warden. Warden did, looks like the Warden got the kill. She did. So she's about to go down. We'll see if she uses a teleport. She does, and out she goes. So took the creep kill and gained 96 experience.
And she manages to get the item as well, which is a Talisman of Evasion. Good item for him if in case he gets surrounded by the Sootman. Because he's the Warden. So right here, Ancient of War being built up at this shop, marketplace here, being scouted by Infi. He wakes up those creeps so that Remind's Ancient of War maybe will get attacked, but no. Warden instead kills that peasant, and that Ancient of War will get built up.
Right, so Remind just putting that Ancient of War out there so he can help creep later on. Meanwhile, he wants to continue harassing Infi. He wants to slow Infi down because Infi wants to get that Panda leveled up. Already at level 2 now, finishing the expansion spot with all the militiamen. Human really has a really nice advantage with militiamen. You can turn your peasants into militia for a short amount of time. And then help you creep. They got a little bit more armor and more power. So here the Shadow Strike was casted on the Priest because Remind wants to kill that Priest. He's basically keeping the units alive longer and was able to take it down and allow himself to get level 2 on the Warden.
So right now, Infi is going to build towers so he can defend an expansion that he wants to build up. Almost level 3 Panda here kills that archer. At this point, we have 33 food count for Infi. 31 food count right now for Remind. He's still at tier 1, so I think he's going to try to do a hunter's push, maybe with a couple of mercenaries there. Only footmen for Infi right now, so they're pretty bad against those huntresses because huntresses run pretty much faster than those footmen. But the Panda is doing pretty well to defend for Infi's army.
Right, it looks like Infi is able to save the footman all the way back. There is an Ancient Protector. He has discovered the Ancient Protector now, which is trying to counter the expansion that Infi is putting up. Warden going straight for the peasants because they're really easy to kill, gaining more experience. And now the footmen are trying to take down this Ancient Protector because they don't want to get that up. Once it's up, it's going to make it more difficult for him to get his expansion going.
He manages to take that down. As you can see, Infi is still trying to put that expansion up. Warden is very low on HP, but I don't think any army of Infi can kill that hero right now. More militia came down from the main base and would try to probably need to go back because he might lack in wood. He needs to put down a lumber mill now. So at this point, it's still full-on skirmishes between the two players. Panda is now at level 3, trying to hit those huntresses, trying to keep on harassing, but no more wood now for Infi. As you can see, 0. Only 36 food count, so it's going to be hard for Infi to tech at this point.
Yeah, he had to use a lot of his resources there to power build his buildings. Human, again, can put more than one worker on a building to power build. That spends resources more. So now he's out, but that's okay. He's got more peasants done. They can actually start harvesting some more lumber here. Ancient Protector tried to go back up again, but was unsuccessful, scouted by Infi. Instead, Remind's going to choose to scout the marketplace at the very north side of the map. He's going to try and pick up some nice items there. His Tree of Ancient of War is helping out in the battle.
And right now, you can see that this Ogre Magi right here actually drops a very good item, so we can check what he can get. He kind of realizes that he can't take that expansion of Infi down, so he just wants to level his Warden. And he gets a Scroll of the Beast. He might sell that because if he techs to bears later on, he can get that roar and he needs that extra money. But maybe for an early push here, that can help because it gives a higher percentage, 25 bonus damage for 45 seconds. It would be good if he uses that on the push here for the expansion.
Yep, so Remind now reaches level 3 on his Warden. He's still at Tree of Life. Meanwhile, we're going to look over in Infi's expansion. Let's look down. It looks like we've got a battle here maybe taking place. Remind's wondering whether or not he wants to attack. 40 food count for him. Meanwhile, 44 for Infi. Shadow Strike being casted on that Panda. And then Infi's just going to pull back. He's got that one Arcane Tower to help him out and another Guard Tower being placed up.
So at this point, Remind is going to try for a push, putting down Ancient Protectors. He has a couple of Wisps coming. He has another one being put down for an Ancient Protector. Infi needs some extra help. He brings some militia from his main base to try to help this battle. 35 food count here for Remind, and Infi is at 46. So it's Footman Militia against those Huntresses, but Huntresses are a bit fast, so they can move out. Infi helps himself to some mercenaries there, going to try to kill that Footman down. I think Remind is trying to kill some time running around because he doesn't want those militia to be able to fight and just want them to revert back to being normal peasants.
So both of them actually picked up some militiamen. We got the Mud Golem here to cast some slow. He also picked up a Troll Berserker, but the Mud Golem already goes down. Panda now decides to TP out, so he's out now, back in his expansion spot. So that buys Remind some time to regroup his army back together. And then meanwhile, the shop of Infi is complete, so he's going to buy some scrolls here. The Scroll of Regeneration to help heal his units.
I think it's quite nice to see all these Huntresses down to red HP. It shows that how good Remind is at saving his units, but it's very difficult for him to be able to push this right now because those towers are going up, and those piercing damage actually does more damage to unarmored for Huntresses. So he's trying to pull back. He's going to have this Ancient Protector tank for his army, but as you can see here, there's 2 towers already, another Arcane Tower as well. Infi is, that expansion's gold is like kicking up, so he will be able to build more units even though he's been stuck at a certain point earlier on.
Yeah, Remind's now going to be forced to retreat. Again, his units were just so low on HP. He had at least 3 Huntresses in the red. He didn't, 4 Huntresses actually in the red. Ancient Protector now being focused on, so the Huntresses are going to try and pick off the Footmen who are too busy focus firing in the Ancient Protector, and he's not going to be able to save it. So down it goes, and he's going to have to retreat. He really needs to get them to go back, either heal from the Moonwells, or, I don't know, buy a Scroll of Healing, which he probably can't right now. So he's just going to have to wait out in the back. That means both players actually have not started teching to tier 2. Oh, Impy did. Impy just now started his tech to tier 2. Meanwhile, Remind is still only at tier 1.
Now the Panda levels up to level 4, just keeping at the expansion and trying to save it. I wonder how much help it would be if Remind just decides to go to the main base, because there's only one tower there, and all of Infi's army is at the expansion, but he's trying to keep on. There's like a couple of maybe 8 to 10 footmen here. Level 3 Warden only, and he uses that roar scroll, and he has extra damage, but those hunts are dying. Panda's almost down, 62
Warden.
HP.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Warden is in trouble. That's just a bad mistake by Remind. Remind calls GG already. First game goes to Impy.
So both heroes go down almost at the exact same time. And I think once Remind saw that Infi's expansion went up, it's really hard for him to push, because Huntresses don't really do a lot of damage against towers, and he doesn't have any ballista to try to push those towers down. I don't know why he didn't try to make them. Maybe he didn't have enough resources.
It definitely wasn't looking good for Remind. That's really unfortunate, because that was his map choice. It would have been better if he won that map. But I just feel like he was making too many mistakes, just trying to fight with that many hurt hunts. You're just asking for your Huntresses to die, because he's going to have to micro even more and manage them more to keep them alive. He had that Troll Priest, but that Priest can't heal all of them that fast. So all the Huntresses were just getting picked off one by one. Got his Warden in a really bad location. She did not have a Scroll of Town Portal, so he just gave up. Which is, again, kind of funny, because yesterday when Moon kept losing all of his heroes and units, I thought it was game over, but he stayed in the game. So I guess Remind didn't want to try that.
I know. I've been like reading forums about it, and they're like, how many final battles can Warcraft 3 have? Like 10? But it made it very exciting. I think a lot of people were very happy to watch that game. They think it was pretty epic.
It was. It was actually a great game. So now we're actually going to create game 2. This is Infi's map choice. This is the map where he played with Moon earlier and had a stalemate game where it went on forever. They basically exhausted all of the gold mines. So there was absolutely no more gold left at all on the entire map. Yep. And that's kind of what happened here. So Infi picked this map. We'll see if he chooses to tower rush Remind or not, because he did tower rush Moon. I'm guessing Remind probably watched the games. Maybe he's going to expect a possible tower rush.
I think after an hour-and-a-half game, Infi's like, I'm not going to play normal. I'm just going to tower rush. Let's get this over with. I'm sure Remind is very much aware of it, because he's been there the entire day. He's like, I need a coffee. I'm so tired from watching this game. So when I asked him, do you want to play against elf or human? He's like, I don't care. I think they need to beat me twice. But do you want to play a long game? And he's like, well, my gameplay against human usually ends pretty fast. So it did on the first game. So we'll see if this happens for the second game too.
Yep, so here we have it. Game 2 now starting, counting down into Tyrannistan. All right, so Remind's got to be careful. He can't get too cocky and think that just because he has one match advantage that he should let up. Because basically, you don't want to play 2 best-of-3s. I mean, you already have the advantage. Just try and get as many games in as you can. And maybe that's why he was sloppy in that first game. So that was a very quick loss for him. If he loses this map, then Infi pretty much takes the first best-of-3, and they have to go again into a second best-of-3.
So Infi here in Tyrannistan, spawning on the upper left side, and we have Elf on the lower right. Just a quick recap of this map. There's 2 possible expansions for each player. So there's one here, one here, one here, and one here. It's bigger than Echo Isles, because Echo Isles only has 2 expansion points. The difference between the first games, you can see that Infi puts his altar earlier, so he won't be going a Tavern Hero. Maybe he will go a Mountain King. His first match against Moon on Tyrannistan, the one that has a stalemate, was a Mountain King. His second game was with a Tinker, so we'll probably see a Mountain King and a Paladin here. Of course, for Remind, it's probably going to still be the Warden. So I don't think Infi is going to try to do that tower rush that he did Moon on his first one game.
Right. Sure enough, we're going to see the Warden coming from Remind, as you predicted, but Infi's going to choose to go the Archmage instead.
Wow.
And Archmage is a very traditional standard hero that a lot of human players love to go in the past. You're starting to see a lot more Mountain King usage as a first hero, but Archmage is no surprise. It's very common. It just really depends on what strategy he's going. I love the Archmage, obviously. I mean, Jaxie and I are both human players, so we really love human. And I personally love the Archmage because of the Brilliance Aura and the
water elementals.
Yeah, ease of creeping with that water elemental. And then, of course, when I reach higher level, I love switching to Blizzard. But then again, I love AoE.
There's one thing I hate about Archmage, though. it always dies.
Yeah, it does. Archmage dies so quickly. And the Warden's going to love going for that Archmage. There's going to be a lot of Shadow Strike. So meanwhile here, we've got farm scouting being done by Infi. Again, a very common thing that human players like to do. You have to have a farm. You have to have enough food to build an army. So he's just choosing to build his farm far away near the creep so that he always knows exactly where his opponent is. He's put it right outside the shop, so he'll always know when Remind chooses to purchase anything from the shop.
So now both players are going to do their initial creeping. So we have Infi utilizing the militia to be able to creep that Goblin Laboratory. Picks up a Ring of Protection +2 for himself, using Water Elementals to tank, so his units are not taking any damage. On the other hand, we have Remind picking up a couple of items of himself for himself too, finishing up this creep camp and this, and now going to move to harass Infi instead. So he's going to leave his archers and Ancient of War to creep for themselves.
Yep, level 2 Warden will cause a bit of trouble here. Archmage also reaches level 2. And so both are going to just continue creeping at this moment, but the Warden wants to try and slow down the creeping. And he probably just wants to see what Infi is up to as well.
Town is under siege.
So we see Infi moving out. Sometimes some humans will use militia to creep here or here if they want to do an expansion, but it seems like Infi is not going to do that. It might be very dangerous because he knows that the Warden is on his way there. He's trying to run across the map. He doesn't want the Warden knowing where he's going. Maybe he's going to try to do some non-traditional creeping so he can do here or here without the Warden following him around. But there's a lot of buildings around and wisp from Remind, so I think Remind knows exactly where Infi is.
So here, Infi wants to slow Remind down a bit. He does see that there's a Moonwell, so he's going to try and slow down that Moonwell, leaving the Footman out. He's got one Footman Shadow Strike already, so that Footman's trying to run away. The rest of the Footmen are tripping up the Warden, preventing her from killing that other Footman. So he's helping his friend out. Was able to slow down just a little bit, but you're not on the same screen as I am, so there we go. You missed it. There's a lot of Footmen here tripping up the Warden, but that's okay.
Oh,
it looks like the Footman here, the Shadow Strike is going to take him down.
So as you can see here, Infi's Archmage actually went to the shop and bought Boots of Speed and Dust of Appearance. In case he manages to get a surround of that Warden and use Shadow Melt, he can see that hero even if it's invisible. And he needs that Boots of Speed to run away from the Warden in case he gets focus fired on. At this point in the game, Remind is now going to take to Tier 2. Archmage is still running around the entire map. Infi is going to Tier 2 as well. And 29 food count for the human player Infi, and Remind is now at 27.
Yeah, so Infi's going to try and slow down Remind by going after some Wisp, but Remind is just going to pop them in and out of the gold mine to try and keep them alive. The summon is pretty much going to dispel soon, so he's just trying to use it where he can and cause some distraction. So right now, Remind can't go out and create because he's too busy fighting against this water elemental.
So that leaves Infi a couple of minutes to be able to creep by himself. Five Footmen here, no water elementals though because he sent them into Remind space. He kills that small creep right here, level 2.5. Picks up a tome, and now there's not much things happening except creeping for both players.
Yep, so Remind down there trying to gain some XP by going for the Water Elemental. He's slowly reaching to level 3. We see Huntress is now scouting the Archmage up at the north part, or the center of the map. Archmage does not want to deal with any of that, so he's going to run away because he's got to try and keep him alive. Back in the main base of Infi, we'll see how he's doing. He's just about to reach Tier 2, so we'll see what second hero choice he chooses to go with.
So Infi now reaching Tier 2. Let's see what Tier 2 buildings he'll build to. He has enough resources to power build a lot, but wow, it seems like he wouldn't be doing any of that. He has a couple of militia running down.
I don't know if he's going to do a tower rush. He may, because he did put down a lumber mill, which will allow him to build guard towers if he needs to. Picks up a Fire Lord, so that is definitely he's going to be doing a tower rush now. The militiamen are coming in to basically run faster, get there, and then power build those towers when they become peasants. And the Fire Lord can now summon these little lava spawns, which again are just like the water elementals. Extra meat, extra battle, so it makes his army a little bit bigger. And in comes the army of Infi, ready to tower rush. Almost a surround on the Warden if he's not careful.
And now we have Infi just going straight for those. He bought a couple of towers that he can just put immediately. Those hunters are trying to take them down before they manage to upgrade. One goes down. Those peasants will be able to repair them, which they're actually doing right now. It's being upgraded to guard tower, and we have Remind in the back of his base putting ancient protectors already because he knew that this was coming after seeing that Fire Lord. 42 food count for the human player. Elf is at 30, so he doesn't have any tier 2 buildings. He only has like this Ancient of War not producing anything, so he's not making any units. He's trying to dispel the mana off and those summons off from Infi, but this looks really bad for Remind if he doesn't get any tricks up his sleeve.
Right, so we've got, you know, just more summons coming up. 2 water elementals, lava spawns keeps going out. Here comes the Wisp trying to detonate to take down those summons as much as possible. Wow, Phantom Knights going out, taking down at least 2 footmen now, pushing the heroes to the far back of the base. Infi is losing his footman left and right here. Another one's about to go down. Water elementals running slow as well. And there we go, 2 guard towers are now up. We'll see if he can stay alive. Shredder of Remind's trying to help fight, and those peasants are desperately repairing. A Huntress, Remind is going to fall here. Another Phantom Knives, wow, bringing those peasants down to half HP.
There's still a lot of peasants repairing though, even though it's going down to red HP, they're repairing very fast because those Hunters already went down against that piercing damage of the guard tower. We have the Archmage right there. He will have enough mana soon to cast Water Elemental, but still, Phantom Knives, level up to level 4. He manages to take 1 guard tower down. He's making archers now instead of huntresses. He's trying to take that.
Wow, Fire Lord almost went down. We had a potion handoff over there from the Archmage, giving it to the Fire Lord, keeping him in the battle, but really he doesn't have any more peasants to help repair. Only 1 Artificial Knight being used by Remind to help add some more mana into his Moonwells. And another Shadow striking the Archmage. Archmage's got to be careful here. GG calls Infi. He does not pull off the tower rush. Remind takes the win, and now we are tied 1-on-1 between Remind and Infi. What an exciting grand finals. So sure enough, Infi went for the tower rush, just like he did in Moon. He was hoping to be successful, but I think Remind was prepared for that. That was actually very, very close. The Phantom Knights on that Warden is so powerful. You saw what happened when she just went, and all those peasants went, ah! Like 5 of them, I think, fell down. So that means we go on to Game 3. So I'll create Game 3. What were your thoughts on that game?
I think it was pretty awesome. I thought Remind would lose that game after Infi. It seems like a very well-timed push because it was morning. Moonwells were not regenerating at night, and those Huntresses were not able to hide or use Shadow Meld in case they were taking a lot of fire. So I think Infi, the delayed tower push instead of an initial tower push with a Tinker, was very good. Like, he had those towers up, he had a lot of units, but you know, I think Remind was very persevering. He had Protectors up, he had an Ancient of War tanking for his units. Even though his Huntresses died and all, he had only 1 archer left, but he managed to kill 1 guard tower, and then he managed to kill those heroes, even though he had like a quarter of HP left. And I think Infi knew that he couldn't be able to push that back anymore once the Warden like reaches level 5.
Yeah, I think he was definitely taking the game more seriously this time, not allowing Infi to actually win that first match. So it's tied even, Steven. We now just need 1 more game to see who's going to take, whether or not Remind is going to be the grand champion of Warcraft 3, or if Infi is going to force him to another best of 3. So again, third map is going to be Turtle Rock. So as we wait for Remind to join the third map, Turtle Rock is it's a small, big map, if that makes any sense. It's big in the sense that it has 4 starting locations. So there could be 4 different places where you can start. However, it's actually very small for a 4 starting position map. It's in the shape of a turtle. So when you look at it, you kind of see like the head and the tail and the little feet. That's why it's called Turtle Rock. And also there's a lot of turtles in the map. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Depending on where you spawn on this map can really tell the game, because the 2 spawn locations side by side are very, very close. You're going to see a lot of harassment early on, or if they spawn across the map, it's going to take some time to actually see some battle.
Yeah, I remember elf versus human spawning side by side would usually be a lot of militia going in and out of an elf base, and then when they time out, they'll just go back, militia back again. So
elf hates it. I know Night players are not fond of Turtle Rock, especially on a close spawn. Human players are almost guaranteed to do Militia Rush because, yeah, as you said, it's really close. So let me see if they are ready.
So we're asking for the players if they're ready. Again, this is the 3rd and final map for the first matchup. If Remind wins this, he will be the grand champion for Blizzcon 2010 Warcraft 3. If not, Infi is going to force Remind for a 2nd round. So
Yeah, and you know what? That would be like 2 really big victories for international victories for Remind if he takes this. He actually defeated Grubby in WCG, so that was also a really exciting game that he played there. I think some people even say that was some of the best matches ever in the history of Warcraft 3, but I haven't actually seen those, so I need to download the replays and watch that. But here, you know, I'm really excited to see Imphy here at Blizzcon, and they are ready.
So we're going to start this game again on Turtle Rock, Game 3. Really exciting. I don't know. Who do you think will win?
I'm going to cheer for Remind just because I've known him for so long. He's always been my favorite. It's kind of a surprise for me to cheer for him because I am a human player and I really love seeing human players win. But once you meet Remind, it's just like, he's so awesome.
That's true. I mean, I feel the exact same way as you. I want to cheer for the human player, but Remind has been very nice. Like, when I met him outside, it's like, hey, good luck casting. He actually knew that we were casting. You know, like some pro players will be like, I'm focused on the game, but he actually follows what's happening in our side too. So.
I know, it's cool. All right, guys, the game has already started, but I want you guys to put your hands together because this may be the final game for Warcraft 3 Grand Champion, Remind versus Imphy, Night Elf versus Human, Korea versus China. And here we go. It may be decided here. So we have a far spawn, so I'm pretty sure Remind's going to be very happy to see that. Imphy is the human player at the bottom right-hand location of the map at 5 o'clock position. He's choosing to go teal. He's also probably going to go his own natural hero because his altar is put up very quickly. Meanwhile, we have Remind in the opposite map at the 11, 10 o'clock position. He is the red Night Elf player, sticking with the good old Warden.
So we'll see a lot of harassment with Fan of Knives and probably a Shadow Strike too. What hero would...
Archmage.
Again, it will be the Archmage. Barracks being put down. We'll see probably both players using Militia. I mean, creeping. This small creep cap in the front. Human will use Militia. Probably Remind will uproot his Ancient of War and use it to tank early on. So it's pretty standard. It's what has been happening for the last year, but I think just players get better and better every year, even though they are doing the same thing. It just improves. They just improve their playing skill level.
They can do it in their sleep. So yeah, they're going to go straight for the little baby turtle creep camp right outside of their base. What Remind's doing here is what all Night Elf players do, using the Ancient of War to help tank, allowing that very fragile archer to help creep. So the Ancient of War is just taking all of this damage, and all he has to do is eat more trees to regain more hit points.
So the Warden comes out now and finishes those creeps. If those creeps were actually killed by this Ancient of War, it doesn't give experience. So he wants that archer to finish that off, or his hero, and that Ancient of War won't be hitting anymore because, yeah, he really wants that experience for that Warden. So, but Warden, after killing that bigger turtle, he's now going to move down. He wants to find where the human player is so he can maybe steal some creeps or maybe pick up some items. And he knows exactly where Imphy is with a couple of militia here that is about to expire. And again, a Shadow Strike on that Archmage. Archmage moving back, casting Water Elemental, doing some damage on the Warden. Warden just pulling back and forth. He doesn't really want to fight, just trying to see if he can pick any low HP units down.
He has a very nicely placed Wisp not too far from the creep camp, was able to detonate, bringing that Water Elemental's HP down almost halfway. So the militiamen are now transformed back to peasants, so they're not quite as useful in battle. They're going to go back and harvest some more lumber or get some more gold and return to the base as Remind is going to do some more harassment. Shadow Strike being casted on the Archmage. Archer is focusing on that. That Archmage is very, very fragile, and most of the time Archmages always die in games, so he's got to keep that Archmage careful. Transforming the peasants back to militia to help defend the harassment.
So it's nighttime now, and you can see that Archer can use Shadow Meld, and now he's invisible. He's going to come back up, going to attack that Archmage, running to the center of the map. Warden, on the other hand, trying to pick off some dead units. I think he managed to steal one. Nope. He's just going to stay here, maybe try to get the Water Elemental, but of course, Imphy denies the experience against that Warden. Warden using Shadow Meld, going back for trying to steal that. Yes, he does. He used Shadow Strike to be able to get that experience from Imphy.
Yep, he's 4 experience points away now from a level 2. And that Warden's running really low on HP. He's going to cast Shadow Strike on the Footman and gets level 2. Very happy Warden there. Still battling, though. Those Footmen got to be careful because it's being supported by a Huntress and an Archer. So the Warden's trying to trip up that Footman, slow him down, make him kind of, you know, yeah, I don't know where the Archmage is. The Archmage is kind of far in back, but he will not be able to get that Footman as he squeezes through.
So the Warden will now TP out. I think he feels that he has done enough damage. Archmage actually earlier on went to the shop to buy Boots of Speed for himself. Now he buys a couple of items to heal his units up, although it's only healing actually one footman and himself, which isn't really low HP, so I don't know if that 100 gold is actually worth it for healing, but he knows better than me, so who am I to talk?
Maybe you can ask him later.
Yeah.
And then he'd say, I'm the pro player, not you. Stick to casting. So meanwhile, it looks like we see Infi wanting to creep, but he's being basically stalked by this Huntress right now. The Huntress is just following him everywhere he goes. He's trying to cancel the health of regeneration on the units by picking off at him. A water element gets summoned to try and defend, and the Huntress will run away. Warden now of Remind coming in, sees the water elemental as an opportunity for experience kill, so he's going to try and go for that.
So at this point, we have Huntresses for Remind. He is now almost at tier 2. Human, on the other hand, is almost about the same tech. Level 1 Archmage only for Infi, so against a level 2 Warden, maybe he would have a little bit of disadvantage. I'm not sure what second hero Infi will pick up. It's very interesting. I want to see a Mountain King though, because that's actually my favorite human hero. Just all kinds of awesome.
Oh yeah, I love the Mountain King. He's a hero killer right there. But meanwhile, we have a skirmisher in the middle of the map. The Warden is trying to take down this water elemental. She's being focused on by 4 footmen, though, so I think she's going to have to retreat. Archmage again with the Shadow Strike. You're going to see a lot of Shadow Strike on that Archmage. A little demon pounding on his head, causing damage over time. Panda is a second hero choice for Remind as he reaches tier 2.
And we can see that Archmage is just moving around, but he's not building anything in his main base as of yet. No second hero. There's no tier 2 buildings as of yet, although... Oh, finally, he puts down another King Sanctum. Just one, though, and still no second hero. I'm not sure what he's planning right now. We have Remind just looking around the map, trying to find where Infi is, so he can do some harassment and creeping. Warden here going to try to take this footman down that was doing some scouting. Infi, I think, might be going to Remind's base, maybe try to take some tier 2 buildings down. 2 ancient floors here and a moonwell, so... There's probably, Infi is probably going to be able to force a cancel on that Moonwell and maybe this Ancient of Lore.
He definitely doesn't want Remind to get to tier 2. That Ancient of Lore will allow him to produce Dryads and Bears. So instead he's going to go ahead and force him to cancel it.
This shop is actually very vulnerable too. It dies pretty easy. It's not as resilient as other buildings, so, but Infi sees that Ancient Floor being built up at the back again, so he decides to cancel that instead. Shadow Strike being used on the Archmage. Archmage is running away while those footmen try to kill some with being healed up by the Moonwell.
Yep, it looks like the Archmage is going to be forced to TP out using the Staff of Teleportation, but leaving the footman behind. Footman's on the run, but the Panda is going to trip up that footman. He wants to get that kill. He's getting in the way. Footman's like, where am I supposed to go? Now Warden's going to get in front of the footman. It looks like she wants to cast another Shadow Strike. Yep, one footman goes down. Meanwhile, another footman here is being chased by a lot of Huntresses. Those Huntresses are really fat, so they can basically get in the way of the footman. Breath of Fire was casted, but I don't think he did too much damage.
So Archmage is now back trying to help his footman out, and a Mountain King is here. Basically my favorite hero, and he's running back though. He's trying to do a tower rush again. As you can see, it's in inventory. There's like 2 ivory towers.
3.
But yeah, 3 ivory towers. I can't count. Wow. But now tier 3 is moving back because Remind actually is the one pushing. He gets a surround on that Warden. Panda doesn't have the Staff of Teleportation. Is he able to pass it? Wow, nice timing there. Just in time. Infi wasn't able to steal that staff, so Panda just barely saves that Warden, but another surround here.
Oh, yeah, oh my goodness, Panda's getting surrounded. Uses a Breath of Fire to see if he can take down as many footmen as he can, but he loses the Panda, and it looks like now he's probably going to have to retreat the rest of his units because that's too many militiamen now. Another Dryad falls down. Archer's going to die here, and that is not looking good for Remind there as he's down to 34 food count. Meanwhile, Infi, all he really has that helped him were those militiamen. He's really hurt at the moment. He doesn't have enough meat. He was trying to do a tower push, but I don't know if he's going to pull that off now. He's got to heal up his units. He's got 3 ivory towers. So the ivory towers are what the Mountain King is carrying in his inventory, and they basically just allow him to plop down towers very, very quickly, and then he can upgrade to guard towers or arcane towers or whatever he wants. So it seems like he's just going to choose to militia creep instead and use the ivory towers to create an expansion.
So I guess he knew that he couldn't push level 2 Archmage and a level 1 Mountain King who's going to take these creeps down, which actually give a good item as well. Level 2 Mountain King right now. We have Remind seeing what's happening, is going to try to stop it before these guard towers get upgraded. Priests are now out to help heal those units of Infi. His turtle is going to go dead, and wow, nice item for the Mountain King here. 15 seconds of invulnerability for his hero in case he gets surrounded.
Yep, and sure enough, Stormbolt, Shadow Strike on the Mountain King, Stormbolt on the Warden. So both are hero killers here, and the Mountain King just wants to try and go after that Warden, but the Panda comes in to rescue, now focusing on the Mountain King, really low on HP, quickly takes down the Priest, and Imphy here has got to be careful because his units, his towers are not quite up yet. Panda reaches level 2, but Warden gets another Stormbolt and needs to be careful as she's running down and low on HP, 80 HP now, wants to take down the tower. Breath of Fire uses the Staff of Preservation to send the Warden back home, and it looks like here we have a Panda now trying to retreat.
This is amazing job by Remind. He didn't have a lot of units, but all his micro, using the Warden, saving the Warden, but now there's a surround and a Panda. Warden is back though, and he manages to escape. That's just amazing. That's awesome. He has the Sorks are now here trying to slow some units down. Both heroes of Infi are still pretty much alive. That forces Remind to retreat, but even though it looks bad for Remind, it's actually pretty good because he stopped that expansion. We had like 3 towers being built up by Infi, but he manages to put it down. So at this point, I think Remind still is doing well. There's not much units from Infi, although he is now switching to Riflemen and Casters.
Yep. We're looking at a level 2 Warden and a level 2 Panda. The Warden is very, very close to reaching level 3. He has Dryads now. He's getting his Druid of the Claws. He's going to upgrade them to Bears. He's already at Tree of Eternity. And let's see if he's researching it. Yep, he's researching the Master Training for the Druid of the Claw so they can turn into bear form. And meanwhile, it looks like we have a pusher coming from Infi. His Archmage, oops, gets detonated by a Wisp, is now moving on in. Breathfire being casted by the Panda. And sure enough, level 3 for the Archmage of Infi.
So he casts Water Elemental here to help tank for his units. Panda has Rejuvenate, so he was gaining some HP. Dryads go down against those Riflemen, but it seems like Infi will be TPing out after seeing those bears. They just transformed right in his face, and he's like, oh, I don't have enough units to be able to fight that army.
No, definitely not. So we have Infi right now at 39 food count. Meanwhile, we have Remind at 36. He does not want that expansion to go up, so nice timing for Remind as he enters in to take that expansion down. That tower won't make it up in time. Peasant gets killed, so might as well cancel the Town Hall.
It seems like Infi really wants that expansion up, but that's not happening. I think Remind here knows that he can win the game just by denying Infi to have that expansion. Infi is going to put some Ivory Towers here so he can just upgrade them to Guard Tower, but Remind is right there yet again using Breath of Fire against the units of Infi. That Mountain King half HP, slow being used against that bear trying to move back, but of course there's always that Staff of Preservation, so he just easily saved that bear without taking much damage.
Yep, so now Infi's going to try and secure his expansion once again. He's waiting for his guard towers to complete. He's got militiamen here to help battle if need be. But once those militiamen turn into peasants, he'll start building it. Oh, Spellbreakers are also out for Infi. Very nice unit choice for him. Spellbreaker can actually steal the rejuvenation that the bears are being casted and casting it on his own units. So that will be very helpful for him.
So just a recap on what's happening. There is only one Arcane Sanctum inside Infi's space. He doesn't have much resources right now, although he does have a lot of wood. On the other hand, we have Remind already at Tree of Eternity. He's making more bears and upgrading them as well. Dryads and Bear Army, a level 3 Warden, and now a level 3 Panda as well. Again, that expansion really, Infi really needs that right now, he feels. So he has 3 towers, guard towers up. Remind is going to go back there yet again, so he doesn't want that expansion up. I think he's been doing a good job trying to deny it, so here it is again.
So here we have Infi coming in, trying to protect his expansion. Guard tower won't stay up. We've got a lot of Wisp coming in to detonate here, trying to take down some of the mana up Imphy. Bears are in bear form, casting Rejuvenation. We've got the army being pushed back, another peasant falling down, so that expansion isn't going to get up. He's got 2 sorcerers with him trying to cast slow, which the Dryads can dispel if they want to. Mountain King here, Stormbolt on the Warden, running back, very low HP on the Mountain King. He doesn't have any way to heal his Mountain King if he's not careful, because all he needs is another Shadow Strike, trying to move his Rifleman out of the way, but that Warden is on a chase, and now a Sorceress goes down. The Archmage is in trouble. Archmage has been surrounded, will go down. Breath of Fire, GG called Imphy. Remind is the grand champion for Warcraft 3 of Blizzcon 2010. Very nice job for Remind.
That's awesome. He did a very good job pushing that expansion. As you can see, the Panda very good trying to kill those towers because it does damage to peasants and guard towers as well. So, yeah.
Everybody, give a big round of applause to Remind. Your new Warcraft 3 champion of BlizzCon 2010. Congratulations, Remind.